Welcome to Imperfect Momming. Our children are constantly looking to us for examples. The term role model doesn't quite cut it here. We are shaping their worldview with every move we make. You see, it's not in the lectures we give or moments where we are actively attempting to teach them. It's in the micro movements we make, the unconscious ways in which we navigate life. We are constantly teaching our children how to show up for themselves, their friends, their future partners, and even their future children. So what can we do to ensure we are raising thoughtful, compassionate, self-aware human beings? We have to become them ourselves. No one is perfect, but we can still all be better, and it starts with self-healing. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Imperfect Momming, and we have a very special guest today, Coach Carolyn Bishop. Welcome to Imperfect Momming.
Thanks very much. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So I get called the Business with Balance Coach. I have been a coach for women entrepreneurs for almost 20 years now in different capacities. And my focus is mainly helping women get to what I call monthly 5-figure flow. So a 6-figure income, but not with those boosts of, sudden income, and then it drops and then it comes back and then it drops, but actually getting a flow to your income. But most importantly, doing it while keeping your personal life a priority. I believe wholeheartedly that our faith and our family and our friends and our fun and our fitness is the reason we do our businesses. So we want to prioritize our life while we're building a great business.
Yeah, and I actually know somebody that I'm thinking of in my head that has built a business over the last 20 years where he's been putting in, 12 plus hours a day, and it's now creating problems in his current relationship. He went through a divorce because of it, but it's also causing issues in the current relationship. And so now he's pulling back. And as he's pulling back, the business is slowing down too. And so had you, been his coach, to really have business with balance, that wouldn't be what he was struggling with now.
Yeah,
so now he's got to learn
very common
strategies. Yeah.
Sadly, it is very, very common, and it's almost this message that was put out there, and I'm grateful that it's starting to change. You're starting to hear more podcasts, you're starting to hear more leaders really talk about how important your personal life is in business growth, because I think, and this is anything, I know we're talking to a lot of moms here. When we take one area of our life and we make that the key of everything, and everything's focused around that, and everything is decided based on that, what happens is that we end up getting put in a situation of having to play catch up or recovery in the other areas of our life. And when we can move forward, whether it be in building a business, or whether it be in parenting, or whether it be in a health goal that we have for ourselves personally, anything that we are passionate and invested in, if we can do it in a way that we are including all the areas of our life in the planning, it makes all the difference. And when you start it that way, like you're saying, this business owner that that, it was almost looked up to. It was almost idolized when people were like, oh, they're working 80 hours a week. Like, people would brag about it. People would, say it like it was some badge of honor. And we don't want to do that in any area of our life, because it requires that the other areas of our life suffer. And so that's why when I coach business, I coach it with balance, with the idea of family and friends and faith and fun and momming and doing all the things that we want to do in our life as the priority. It is so important.
Yeah. Now so I have mentioned my business coach on my podcast, I believe, a couple of times. And so everybody meet my business coach.
Hi.
Which is why I introduced you as Coach Carolyn Bishop, because I was like, oh, I've never introduced anyone, even though they are coaches. I've never introduced anyone as Coach so-and-so. And one of the things that attracted me to you was what you were just speaking about, this concept of the sacrifice, short-term sacrifice, long-term gain. And it actually was something that drove me crazy, that like I felt like I was putting this short-term sacrifice for 10 years. Yes. And in my head, it was short-term sacrifice because I wasn't actually doing it. But it's the message that, you know, while we're in this, you know, season of our life, like if we just sacrifice everything during this short period,
a little bit of time, it'll all come together and then everything will magically be wonderful. But what happens to the relationships you neglected during that time? Or what happens to the exercise that you didn't make time for because it wasn't the priority? Or what happened to the travel and the fun and the girlfriend time, or even just reading a book or having a bath that gets tossed out the window? Yeah. And that's the danger, is that catch up and that recovery that it requires after we do that sacrifice. And you're right, it was a common message, and sadly it still is. Like, if you just go hard, if you just dive in for a little while and you do this for this long, it'll suddenly magically all be wonderful at the end, and then everything can go back to the way it is. And that's not accurate. Right. And it's not healthy, in my opinion. And so what I like to share is what I call the CPAS to success, where it's an acronym, CPASS, that guides people. And this can be used for parenting, if that's, you know, really what you're focusing on right now, and making sure that you're loving your parenting and letting go of that mom guilt, or whether you use this to build your business and making sure you're clear on that, or whether it be a health goal or anything that you're really focusing on. The CPAS to success can be a guideline, because I don't like recipes for success either. I think it's really important it's personalized for you, but it can be a guideline that you follow to make sure that you're moving in a path that is really clear. So is it good timing if I share it right now, Alicia?
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. All right. So the first one, the C, so you can think of this as Carolyn's path to success. So the C stands for clarity. The number one thing to be able to move to a goal quickly, to be able to move to an outcome quickly, like, you know, a relationship with your kids, or a health goal that you're going for, or whatever it is knowing exactly what you're aiming. What's the end in mind? What's the outcome that you're looking for? And what is it that you're trying to achieve? And that is part of that clarity. But the second part of the clarity is, now that you've decided where you want to go, you got to get a real clear picture on where you are. What do things look like right now? What are the strengths? What are the possibilities? What are the things that are going well? What are the things that aren't going well? Where are the weaknesses? And having that idea. And it's kind of like standing at the top of the mountain and knowing that down in the village, down below, there's a destination you have to get to. And if it's a cloudy, foggy day where you can barely see your feet because, like, it's dark and it's the clouds have come in and you can barely see anything, that trip's going to feel really daunting and scary, and you're going to walk hesitantly. It's going to be slow. You're going to trip over every obstacle. It may even stop you in your tracks. But when the sun comes out and it's clear and you can see the destination and you know where you're starting from and what you have to get through to get to the end, then you can move quickly. And then the obstacles don't seem so big and you can move around them. So that's that clarity piece of it. And then the second one is that your path's got to be personalized. If you don't know how to ski, you don't want to be going down the mountain on skis. If you don't know how to snowshoe, you don't want to be going down on snowshoes. You don't even want to be wearing size 16 shoes if you're a size 5, right? So you want to make sure that your path is personalized for you. And what that means in your life, in your business, is moving forward in a way that uses your gifts, the things that you already have. The things that I like to say are already in your fridge. If you go to cook and you want to make something, if you can use what's already in your fridge that you have, it's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of energy, because now you don't have to go to the grocery store shopping for all these different things. So that's the P, is the personalized plan. And then the third one is all-inclusive action. And this is what we were talking about, Alicia, is just that idea that your life and your faith and your fitness and your fun and your friends are all included if you're building a business, or if you are, you're a stay-at-home mom right now, and that is your focus, and that's kind of your job and what you're passionate about and wanting to do, then you want to also make sure your fun and your faith and your fitness and any other work that you do is all included. It's all part of it. Hi, Xander. And so that is what I call all-inclusive action, that as you plan your action steps, that you're making sure that you're including all the areas of your life. So you're not letting anything fall behind. So you're not sacrificing to get success in one area of your life, because that's really like giving up on one area to have success in another. And we don't want to do that, right? And then the last two, so that was CPA, the last two are S's. First is systems. Once you've figured out what those action steps are that are all inclusive, and then it's personalized for you, and a lot of times a coach can really help with that, is then you want to have those systems to be able to move that forward in a way that it flows, that it just becomes simple. I'm never going to say, I'm a business coach. I'm never going to tell you business building is easy, but I will tell you it can be simple, and that it doesn't have to be masses of hours a week. And so the systems are really important. And then the last one is support, getting people who believe in what you're doing, who will support you behind the scenes, who may not understand what you're doing or even get it, or they may not even be involved in it, but will be there going, you got this. And then also the coach of a teacher or mentor or some type of support that has not only got to where you want to go, but who got there in a style you would want to replicate, and not just in that area, but the whole part of their life. So for example, I know you were just kind of talking about this, Alicia, I had a business coach too at one point where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so going to replicate this person. I have so much respect for what they've achieved. I want to do what they've done. And then I found out behind the scenes, the marriage was a shamble. They worked 24/7, basically. Their health wasn't good. I have to say, I dropped that coach pretty quick because I didn't want to follow somebody that the life was being neglected just for business success, because that wasn't what I wanted to replicate. And so your support system, when you are picking a coach or a mentor or a guide of any kind, is make sure that the vision and the instruction is coming not only from someone who's achieved what you want to achieve, but who got there in a style you would want to replicate. And that can make all the difference with your ability to be able to have that all-inclusive planning and that all-inclusive advancement in whatever it is that your goal is.
It's interesting that I've never listened to the CPAS. I've listened to you talk about it multiple times. I've never listened to it with the mom goggles on. And so that's what I was doing right now while you were talking. And the last one, you said support, and there's so many levels of that support that are important, because a lot of times moms stop having friends because that I don't have time. We take advice from strangers on the internet in Facebook groups. We don't know anything about who they are or what they do, and we're just taking advice. And I know I've talked about that on other episodes, where it's like, one of my pet peeves is when moms post medical things on groups and they're like, what is this on my child? I'm like, that's a doctor question. Please go seek medical attention, which I know it's hard during COVID, but still, it's like you don't know who these people are. They're giving advice from a really heart-centered place, I imagine, but we don't know who we're getting advice from. And so that's why that support system is important, and including a medical professional that we trust, that we know and trust, right?
Yeah, very true. I mean, if you think of, if you were going to take advice on your teeth, are you going to take it from a random person, or do you go to a dentist? Right. When it comes to your health, you want to take health advice from somebody who's studied and is an expert in the field. If you want to take business advice, ideally you want to take it from an expert who's somebody who's studied and been an expert in the field for a long time. Mm-hmm. If you're taking parenting advice, you want to take it not only from another parent, but another successful parent, somebody that you know the results they're getting. And you also can see behind the scenes a little bit and know that what you're hearing and what you're getting is coming from a place of something you'd want to replicate all aspects of. And so, yeah, I think it's anytime we're looking for advice, anytime we are accepting someone's opinion, because it's okay to share. And it's very true. I love what you said. When people give advice or when we share our thoughts, we are, for the most part, I would say 100% of people are doing it from a heart-centered place. They have a vision to share. They want to impact. They want to make that positive change for someone and feel like they were a part of that. And it makes people feel good helping. And so it's okay that they share that. What you want to do is be cautious what you accept in, what you take and what you implement, and make sure that it's a fit for you. Make sure that it is going to be coming from a source that is accurately portraying something that you would want to replicate. And so I talk that in business, I talk that in health, in life, and relationships. And so that's where you want to always look, is when you're getting that support, is it coming from someone who's has the results that you want to get? And in addition to that, did they get those results in a style that you would want to replicate? Because it's not always about the end game. It's also about the process. Life is a process, right? All these things, like we're learning how to parent. I have 2 teenagers. I have a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old. I'm still figuring things out now, right? Of course, it's always new every day. And so the people that I look to, I'm not going to ask somebody who's got a 3-year-old what they did with their teenager, because it just doesn't fit. But I will ask somebody who's got a kid a couple years older than me. I know right now we're doing college recruitment stuff, and holy cow, it's freaking me out. But who I'm looking to is the kid who just got accepted to Baylor. I'm talking to her parents and what they did and how they got those scholarships and what happened. And they did it in a way that we would want to replicate. So that's who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to the person who maybe got into Baylor, but is super stressed out and freaking out about things. And they're just unsure about everything. I don't want to ask them, because it's not a style I want to replicate. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's kind of like when you have, I have a younger child. So when you have, younger kids and you see, and yours is maybe a little unruly, and you see somebody whose kids are like in line, and you go and ask them, oh, how your kid's so well behaved. And they're like, yeah, I beat up daily if they get out of line. Like, you're not going to implement that.
Okay, I don't want your advice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
See you later.
Yeah. You just, until you know your sources and whether or not it's a complete match for you, just be cautious. It's okay to hear the advice, but be cautious about what you absorb and where you absorb it from, would, I guess, be what we're saying here. So yeah, because
the saying, don't take advice from someone that you wouldn't trade places for, is something that comes up a lot. Where, I grew up in business and it's true, but we take the advice from where they are, and there's probably a lot of people who have 6-figure flow, but like you said, their entire family life is in shambles. They work 80 hours a week, and their kids don't know who mom is, and that's not the point. That's not my point of life.
Yeah, one of my favorite phrases, and I start the workbook for my free boot camp that I do, is the very first quote right at the beginning of it. I say, you are building your business to have a great life. You're not living your life to have a great business. And so that's that reiteration, of course, for me as a business coach, to really constantly remind the reason you're building this is to give yourself the life you envision. You're not living your life just to have a great business. Otherwise, then turn everything else off. Forget all the relationships, forget all the fun, forget everything. Just go get a good business. And unless that is, and what I do want to kind of clarify with that, though, is I also don't want to create guilt on those who may be listening going, but I love my business. I'm passionate about it. Like, I want to work 80 hours. Fantastic. Then that's the right match for you. You can see behind me the words be and achieve. So that is the tagline for my business. And what it stands for is be your best self so you can achieve your best life now. And what that means is, even in business, if you are right now as a business owner, or, and you can put this in any scenario, but if working passionately for your business and you want to do that 5 hours a week, because the other passion you have in your life is being that stay-at-home mom for your kids and being their primary caregiver. And that was one of my passions. That's what I did. And I didn't want to work my business a ton, because I wanted to be the main caregiver for my kids and be the one who raised them and influenced them the most. And so at the time, I didn't want to work more than 10 hours a week. And I had some guilt wrapped around that. And then I started to realize, wow, that's who I be. And if I do it, then I'm achieving, then I'm really successful. Because if I can have that business going the way I want and be the main caregiver for my mom, for my kids, be the mom I want to be, that's my success, then I'm super successful. Yeah. And if you're on the other end of the spectrum and you're thinking, I am incredibly passionate about my business, I love the change I make for people, I want to be out there constantly, like moving other people in their lives and their business, or doing whatever it is that you do, then, and you want to do that 80 hours a week, and that allows you to come home and be a powerful mom for 5 hours that you spend with your kids, and it builds a great relationship for them, and they have a great connection with you, and that's who you be, then you're just as successful. Mm-hmm. And the hard part is for us not to look from the outside and be, yeah, but she should be, and what I call shoulding on each other. Mm-hmm. It's about owning who you are, what your passions are, where you are going to make the best impact in life on the people around you, your family, your friends, the people that maybe you coach or you teach or, you influence. If you can be the best for all those people, and you find that design that gives you the best of you in all those scenarios, you're really successful. And for some people that may be in the business world, and for some people that may be in the mom world, and for some people that may mean like, at 5 o'clock, I have to turn my kids over to my husband because I just need to go be my best me when I come back to them. But right now I can't be, and I need a break. And that's okay. It's okay to recognize that and know that that's who you are in the moment, and give yourself the grace to say, I want to be my best for you. And so this is what I need right now to be my best for you. And sometimes that means checking out a little bit. And sometimes that means diving in and being right there. And as long as it's a match for you, then you're good to go.
There's so much gold in all of that. And my next question for you is a piece of advice for moms. And if you just want to refer back to that, then that's fine. But if you have another piece of advice that you want to share.
Yeah, I think it's so easy sometimes when we're listening to the podcast, or we're reading a book, or we're listening to an expert in some capacity, and we're thinking, okay, yeah, that sounds great. But in the moment, it's like, I can't right now. I just can't right now. I feel busy. I feel I have to do this. I have to, or I should, and we should on ourselves. And that's the worst shoulding to do, because we are with ourselves 24/7. So if we are shoulding on ourselves, then, and we can't escape that, because we don't leave ourselves ever. What I want you to think of when you're in that moment and you're feeling like, I should, I have to, and you're feeling that tenseness and you're feeling that tightness. And I'm describing this because I get there too sometimes, and I've been there, and that's why I can relate to it, is just going, okay, how can I get back to my best me right now? How can I get back to my best me right now as quick as I can? Does it mean stepping out? Does it mean taking a breather? Does it mean closing my eyes? Does it mean that I just have to go to the bathroom for a minute? Does it mean that I need to talk to my significant other or partner, if you have one, to say, hey, I need a day tomorrow? Is it what could be one step right now that you can take to get back to your best you, or as close to it as you can be? Mm-hmm. And that's what I want to leave you with, is the idea that, we tend to be, I coach in business a lot. We want to work proactively, not reactively. We want to have our plans, and we want to move forward in a way of designing our life the way we want, rather than, oh, they need me, and this email came in, and that. And the same is in your life. If you're talking parenting, if you're talking relationships, that sometimes, we just need to step back. And sometimes that step back is just that thought, is what do I need that could make me be my stronger self right now? And just ask yourself that every so often. And sometimes you won't be able to act on it instantly. And sometimes you won't feel like you want to act on it instantly. And you want to stay in the moment of the frustration or the anger because you're just, I just need to be here for a second. But just ask yourself, what could I do right now to be my best me or to move back towards my best me? And then see if you can act on it.
Yeah, I really love, that message, and, don't be a should head.
Mm-hmm. I love playing with that word. It's so fun.
Yeah. And I want to plug your free boot camp. Obviously, that's how I found you. I think through Facebook. I think I clicked on an ad, and I recognized the picture you were in. You're pointing to the word "be," and I recognized the suit you were wearing. I was like, I think that she's from the same company that I'm from, and so there's a little bit of like, let's see who she is and what she's doing. I'm curious, and then I just fell in love with you. So I want to plug your boot camp. This episode is probably releasing around April of 2022. So when-ish is your next boot camp?
Well, it's always happening. The furthest away it will be is at the most it would be 8 weeks, and that's if I ended it yesterday. So
you don't know for sure, but
yeah, carolynbishop.com/bootcamp, and that is the information page. It'll tell you when the next one is, and you can check it out and come join us for free. And what it is about is rapid business growth with balance. So it's all about really expanding what you do, getting bigger results, getting, a faster, bigger, more confident yeses in your business in a way that you can love your life at the same time. So it is about rapid business growth with balance. And again, it's carolynbishop.com/bootcamp.
Awesome. And then a book. Is there a book that's been really impactful for you along your personal development journey?
Yes, I always go back to the same one whenever I find myself going, wow, how have I got so much on my plate? What's happening? I love the book called The One Thing by Gary Keller. And it is about bringing things down to simplicity, because I really believe in a business world, simplicity sells. In your life, simplicity breeds success. Simplicity gives us a chance to just go, oh, okay, I'm all right, when the reactive world around us is maybe not feeling so simple. So I love that book for so many different reasons and so many different effects that it's had on my life. And I love it because it's one of the ones that I use in my method for coaching too, just about the one thing. When you can do one thing really well, it will impact all the other things amazingly, as long as you're taking those other things into consideration, is what I always like to add, that all-inclusive action, that A and that C path to success. So yeah, The One Thing by Gary Keller. Very,
very cool. And I've heard at least one other person mention that book. I think it might have been you, but I think there was another person who's mentioned that book. So, and then carolynbishop.com/bootcamp, is that the best place to find you? Or do you want to mention
the other option? Yeah, the other option is to go onto Facebook. If you would like to come join me on Facebook, you can just search up either my name, which is spelled Carolyn. So it's Carolyn Bishop. Or you can go to Business Women with Balance, Business Women with Balance. If you search that, you'll find my free group, and there's a lot of content in there, a lot of free stuff. And we have a very active, amazing group of women, and it's just an incredible environment in there. And I go live every single week with a free training as well. So you can either come to carolynbishop.com/bootcamp or join me in Business Women with Balance, which is the group in Facebook.
And so much value. Like, I'm in your coaching program as well as in your free group, and there's so much value in both. So just, shameless little plug for you.
I will take it.
I'm not just talking the talk, I'm walking the walk. So thank you so much for being here and pouring into my listeners and me, as always.
Thank you for the invitation, Alicia. You're amazing. And I'm so grateful to be in touch with the amazing group of women that you tell me about so often in your audience. And they're very lucky to have you.
Thank you so much. And we'll be back with another episode next week of Imperfect Momming. And in the meantime, keep healing. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Imperfect Momming. It's time for us to step up and realize that our power is not in trying to shape our children. Our power lies in shaping ourselves into the people we want our children to model themselves after. Don't just do it for your kids. Do it for yourself. When you become a more self-aware, compassionate, and confident person, you and everyone around you benefit. For more information about me and my work, visit AliciaLyons.com. That's ALYSIALYONS.com. See you next time.